Hey y'all, what's up? JamiThatsMe here. Welcome back. Welcome back to the channel. Listen, I want to go ahead and talk about part two of Where is Wendy Williams? Now, I did do my best. Hello, I did do my best with taking notes this time. This time around, I definitely tried to do my best. So I am just hoping that we cover everything how we need to cover it. All right. If I forgot some stuff, okay. But towards the end of, going through a lot of this stuff, a lot of the notes and things that I have, in my opinion, about what's happening with Wendy Williams, I'm gonna try to pull up some old articles that I came across. One of them was regarding Wendy Williams' financial advisor that left her. And then also one regarding her son who ended up being in a eviction or whatnot, because people were alleging that he forged his mom's signature. So we'll get into that towards the end of everything. So yeah, matter of fact, give me one. Oh no. Okay. All right. So anywho, let's go ahead and keep going. All right. Now, first of all, Wendy. Okay, so it's kind of picking up where it left off or whatever from the night before. The first thing that I captured was the fact that Wendy says that her accounts at Wells is saying that it's at $0. So Wendy is saying that she's being notified by Wells Fargo that her account is at $0, and then goes on to mouth her guardian's name and accuses her of stealing from her account. Listen, I'm not going to disagree with this woman. I'm not going to say this lady is wrong. I'm not going to say she is lying. Okay. I feel like now, granted, see, here's the problem too. She has obviously some mental things going on. So it's clear that she could, kind of, exaggerate a bit. But even in the midst of her exaggerating or sounding a bit off, I do feel like there is some truth in things that she is saying. I don't know who she's talking to at Wells Fargo, but they will have to produce statements for me. Don't sit up there and be on the phone with me and say that I have $0. And maybe they told her you have $0 because it's no longer in your possession, meaning that you can't get access to it unless it's by way of the guardian. And I feel like they could have told her that, which is the reason why she says that the guardian is the one that's stealing her money. And I feel like it's giving stealing too, because you getting paid to do your job. And based on how we're looking at what's happening with Wendy, are you actually doing your job? Why the F does she have a management team? What the fuck is managing? What is that about? Wendy's niece, she's over there talking to her aunt, sitting down, having a conversation with her, getting the deets. Wendy's letting her know that she'll be moving soon. The niece is like, "Where?" Wendy's like, "I'm not going to tell you that. I already told you that." And then she mouthed it and said 3 weeks. She's moving in 3 weeks or whatever. Next thing you know, the publicist comes in the room and sits right up under her niece. And then Niecy, not Niecy, but then Wendy decides to introduce the two of them. She introduces them, and then the niece is looking like, hi, hello, hey girl, hey. Oh, so you seen a new home? Yeah, I did. I did see the new home, and she really likes it because this with this apartment here, everything is on the first level, so she really likes this one. The niece said, "1 second, please." Okay, the niece put that one church finger up. That's what it was giving. Collected her shit and went around the corner and was like, "I am not gonna sit up here and have no conversation with my auntie with this bitch sitting over here. Her and this bad wig. We are not going to sit here, and we're not going to be, no, we're not going to talk to my aunt together. She has her time with my aunt. Now it's my time. I don't need anybody impeding on my motherfucking time when I'm talking to my auntie. Period." Listen, I was with the niece all day. The girl was like, "I don't even know who this motherfucker is. Girl, I don't even know this lady." And it's giving every bit of weird. Who is this bitch? Listen, I would have felt uncomfortable too. It was a scheme that they set up. I would have felt uncomfortable too. Who is this bitch? Okay. I don't trust Shawn. I don't trust Shawn, and I barely trust Will. I feel like Will, when I watch this part two, I go in and out of Will caring, right? I feel like Will cares, but at the same time, I feel like he really doesn't. And this is why I feel like he don't. I want to say that he cares because he brings up, of course, he's talking about her health and she needs 24-hour care, and it's certain things he would say that would appear as though he cares. But this is what it really nipped in the bud for me. The only reason Will cares, in my personal, is because of the financial benefit for him. It's always going to go back to what he can get out of this. He needs Wendy to stay as sane as she can. I don't think he gives a damn about her health being top tier. Even if it's a piece, even if it's at 30%, 40, he's okay with that. As long as she's able to continue to function, that means he can continue to get a check. Because if you see this lady deteriorating, why are you convincing her and making her think that she can still do a damn podcast? She could barely do her fucking show. And that's why I blame the Wendy Williams show, because y'all saw this lady deteriorating right before y'all eyes. Y'all saw her freezing up on camera, not being able to get words out and stuff, but yet y'all still forced and pushed her to perform. That's what that don't make sense to me. So when I just feel like a lot of people that I've seen, on Twitter and stuff, try to make it seem like the family was the problem, try to make it seem like Kevin was the problem. Girl, that could never be for me. It's always going to go back to that TV show. Okay. In addition to it going back to that TV show, it's also going to go back to that financial institution that is tied to that TV show in some fashion for me. And it's not necessarily changing. I was waiting for people to drop something so compelling in the comments to, make me change my mind. And I ain't changing. It ain't changing yet. Okay. I think they all in cahoots, but that's just my personal. Okay. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to keep going. So let's see what else we got. All right. So her niece has, they said that she's tried to talk to the guardian, y'all. But the lady basically, in so many words, could care less. She said when she first started talking to the lady was pretty much coming off like, "Oh, hi, absolutely, yeah, sure, no problem." You know how they show their representative in the front in the beginning, like all is really well, and then as time progresses, the girl pretty much said that she kind of showed like a lack of, I think she said interest or something like that. Basically, the energy she gave in the beginning wasn't the same energy she kept over time. So it's giving that she could care less. And it's that it just really grinds my gears that a government can take control over you in that sense, like to a point where you can't even control your own, like yourself. Like you can't be like, it's just crazy. Now I understand that she may have mental stuff, but it's more than that, because not only is she not in control of herself, physically, financially, all of that, but y'all stripped that away from her own family. Not only did y'all create narratives to snatch it from her son, but y'all wasn't even willing to give it to a family member, her sibling, give it to her niece, like that's older clearly than Kevin. Y'all didn't even try and give it to one of them. And maybe that's because, and it could be because they live in different states. Wendy lives in New York, whereas the family lives down in Florida. But I feel like at the drop of a dime, her sister or that niece, as much as the niece is up there in New York, would have stayed up there to be with her if they did that. But y'all took that completely away from the family, and I don't think that's right. I think a family should always have first right of refusal unless you can prove that those people don't mean her any good. So if y'all feel like y'all proved, which I don't believe that y'all did, in my personal, if y'all feel like y'all proved that Kevin wasn't doing right by her, then why didn't y'all look at the next family member of kin to look after her before y'all just throw it over there to a professional quote unquote guardian person? And when that happens, I refuse to believe that the courts, the system doesn't get a kickback from that. At some point during this documentary, we heard from a lady named Diane Diamond, who I definitely am going to be looking up. And I'm going to try and find some interviews and stuff to learn more about this guardianship stuff. But she mentioned that over the years, she learned that this has happened to hundreds of people, maybe thousands throughout the United States. Okay. Where this guardianship situation has taken place to where, they ain't in control of their money or whatever the case is. She said, and what they're doing is they're not giving it to the family. They're not putting the family in control of the relative. They're automatically giving it to a professional, quote unquote, guardian, a complete stranger. I don't think that's right, because when you talk about somebody that's supposed to overlook a person and supposed to be a guardian, they're supposed to think in that person's best interest. And that's very difficult when you put a stranger in that position, because there is no, in my opinion, emotions or connection tied to that for them to care enough about another person's well-being. Yes, you will get a few people like that, but I do not believe the majority of the professional guardians are in that place. To want to offer that type of, service where they really care. And it's like, and I also feel like this, when you have a guardian like that, even if especially when it's professional, I just don't think they should be the only person. I think y'all can add, and I said this yesterday, y'all can add a guardian in partnership with the family. So they can kind of oversee it, but the family member is still the immediate contact or whatever the case is, right? I don't think that they should be stripped away of any rights and y'all give it to this professional guardian. I feel like when I hear professional guardianship, what it sounds like to me is exactly what Wendy's sister ended up mentioning toward the end of the documentary, where she said that it sounds like you take a class or something. I'm like, that makes so much sense. Like, a lot of these people go and take, like, for example, foster care parenting classes. They go and take these foster care parenting classes. They take these kids in, but sometimes it's not because they genuinely care for the children. Right? That's not everybody's case. Sometimes it's so that they could get heads in their house, so that they could get checks in their house. Same reason why defects be snatching kids out of their home. Some of the kids that need to be snatched out, they don't. They leave them there to suffer. The kids that be well taken care of, y'all snatch them out their house, and then y'all continue to get checks off of the heads that's in possession that y'all have. And I feel like that be the same thing with, like, when I think about foster parents. Some of them do that. They go take these classes. Once they get these kids, a lot of them start receiving checks from the government. Same thing with professional guardians. Hey, I could go and be a professional guardian, so I'm going to always make money because I'm managing these people's business or whatever the case is. Now, I don't know if you have to strictly be an attorney, a financial advisor. I don't know what role you have to, or what your job has to be, what your credentials are for you to become a professional guardian. But I feel like, to me, it's a money grab for some people. Oh, let me just go and do this. And y'all are trusting these people to have other folks' lives in their hands. And I just, girl, I'm not with that 100%. Okay. And it's the fact that the lady is hard to get on the phone. That's why Wendy's sister at the end was telling her to document all of that shit. And see, I wouldn't have been just telling my sister to write down anything. Don't just make a note. Yeah, I need you to do a whole thing. Matter of fact, I need you to call me. Okay. Let me know so I could document it as well. If you in your right mind, document the date, the time when you called her. Make sure you make a note of the reason why you called her. If you left a voicemail, go ahead and leave a voicemail so that she'll have a record. And when they run through whatever records or do an investigation, they'll know that you left some type of voicemail. But in addition to that, record that shit if you can. Record you making multiple calls. If you can record yourself via audio or video making multiple calls to this lady, then that's even more proof, because whatever you writing on or making note, you could kind of lose that possibly. But I would record all of this shit and send it to an email, so it's always gonna be on file. But yeah. What else? Well, let's keep going. Will is upset that Wendy left to go to LA without his knowledge. And Shawn says that Wendy complained about having no food being in the house. Now, I felt so many different ways. I'm like, first of all, why the fuck is this lady in LA? Even though Shawn and Wendy concocted this plan, because Wendy was like, oh, Will isn't going to know what's going to hit him. He doesn't even know what's about to go down. He doesn't even know we're about to head the hell out of here. We're about to go to LA. I'm going to be in LA. I'm going to do this and that. Shawn just sent over there eating it up. Shawn, I hope you're fired, baby. Because at some point, we didn't see you no more after you took her on that trip to LA. We didn't see, I hope your ass was fired. Because you are a true definition of a yes person. And I don't even think it was that you were afraid of Wendy. I don't think you were afraid of Wendy. I think you just wanted to get closer to Wendy. I think that you wanted to even take positions. But we'll get into more of that. We'll get into more of that. But let me go back. It was the fact that she took took Wendy to LA. And then it was the fact that Wendy said there wasn't no damn food in the house. I said, now hold a minute. Hold a minute, please. Moonwalk it to the back. Okay, come on back. How the hell Wendy ain't got no goddamn food in her house, but y'all stay having liquor in her house? How does that add up? Where is this alcohol coming from? Okay, y'all got more alcohol than y'all got cooking oil. Somebody get their ass in this kitchen and get the cooking for the lady. I'm a little confused. So y'all can't go and get the lady no food, but y'all can stay going to the store getting her pens, smoking pens, and getting her alcohol. And yes, I want to get some champagne. Yeah, sure. That's what I want to drink on, some champagne. Like, what is going to feed her? Feed her food. What's going on? Okay. And if y'all cannot do that, then why is she with y'all? So Will is pissed, but he's mad at Shawn, as he kind of should have went off on Shawn ass, honestly, because what the hell you think you doing? Talk about something you got her going to LA. How the hell Wendy complaining to you about not having no food in her house equates to y'all taking y'all ass over there to LA? How does that equate? That don't even make sense, Shawn. So we knew you was full of shit. You was taking this lady to NBC Universal to have a meeting, and you know it wasn't in her best interest in the state that she's in. That is not, like, I don't know what this girl was thinking in her head. I knew it wasn't all there because her leave out wasn't there with the wig either. So I knew that she wasn't all the way there 100% mentally, but I don't know what she could have possibly been. Were you trying to get on Wendy's good side? Like, what were you think? What made you think that that was smart to do? All because Wendy said that's what she wants. Are you, what the fuck? What? And then the amount of times that you kept getting in and out the car to go into the store to grab some pens to come back and give it to Wendy. Wendy would have had to just say, let me tell y'all, the way Wendy was acting, and of course I understand she has dementia. The son mentioned that it's alcohol-induced dementia. She was gonna be mean regardless. So why continue to give her her way? She gonna be mad either way, girl. You done brought all them pens back, and she still over there cussing you the hell out. It would have just been Wendy. They ain't got no pens. Kick the seat, kick it. Okay, scream, because you ain't getting it. Like, it would have just been like, nobody cares about her best interest. Let's get to Will again, because Will over here pissed. He's pissed. And I said this yesterday. I'm sure I did. When Will comes off as though he cares about Wendy, he really doesn't, because it's more so about how he looks and what benefits him. Because when the girl took Wendy off to LA, he gets upset with Shawn, as I feel like he should have, but at the same time it was a bigger reason. He wasn't upset with Shawn because she took Wendy and he's concerned about her health. He was upset that Shawn took Wendy because he had no control. Obviously, it was done under his quote unquote guardianship, because he's also looking over her, and he's more focused on how he is going to be looking to the actual guardian. So he says, oh well, what he said, he was like, oh well, she over here, like, that affects me. What she's over there doing, snatching Wendy away, that affects me. I can't have the guardian looking at me like the guardian that hit me up saying, hey, is it my understanding Wendy went to LA? He was like, I didn't even respond back, because if she finds out that Wendy went to LA under my watch, like, that's gonna be a problem. She's gonna be looking at me like I can't even handle Wendy on my own, whatever. And I said, aha, and there it is. What I've already known is more so about how you look to the guardian, because if the guardian feels like you ain't in a good enough position to be around her, they're gonna snatch your ass back off the case, same way they did her family, and then your checks is gonna stop. Because personally, that's what I feel like it's about for him. I do not believe that it's about the genuine care of Wendy at all. I believe it's about a jeweler turned manager who is getting his checks. That's it. You don't really be trying to restrict that lady from that damn alcohol or nothing. Just like you went in that room knowing exactly where the alcohol was, bring it up, mention it to her, acting like you gonna take it downstairs or whatever the case was. That was given performative, baby. I don't trust you. I don't believe you. Okay, you there to get a check like the rest of them folks. Then every time they show the other lady, the other black lady that be there, they put management team under her. Why the fuck are we? What are y'all managing? Because y'all damn sure not managing her health, and it ain't no lifestyle really for her to be managing when she need to be getting her damn rest. So I'm confused, girl. I am confusion. All right. So then not halfway through, but I just remember making this note. I said, I'm starting to think the documentary was never to document her return to TV or to do a podcast. Okay. Because initially that's what they said it was for. When you read up on it, they say, this was a documentary that was supposed to film her return to TV and podcast, and then at some point it turned into exposing. Okay. They said it turned into them showing like what's really been going on with Wendy. And I said, nah, I said the family, in my opinion, always planned to record once they were iced out or whatever. The whole plan was for them to record what the fuck was happening with Wendy once they no longer had access to her or whatever. They used the excuse of a return to TV and a podcast to film, not just to quote unquote film Wendy, because a lot of people were like, oh, I just feel like they used this excuse, to for Wendy to go along with it, for them to film with Wendy or whatever. And I'm like, it's not just that. Even if it is that, it's not just that. It's also, in my opinion, to finesse the people that was around her. Because I feel like if they really knew what they was trying to do, they probably wouldn't have went for it. But if you're gonna make it appear as though, oh, we're filming to, get her back, to get her back on TV and all this other stuff, then yeah, they're gonna eat it up. They're gonna be like, yeah, bet, let's do it. I think Wendy would love that. We're on board. Da 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 da. Because if y'all pay attention, the whole thing was about Will, Nim, and everybody else trying to get Wendy back to work. And it's just so funny to me that they trying to say the family was mishandling funds or whatever the case was. They were trying to say about the family. The family did not display any of that. It looks like more of her team that was the enablers. The family was more so caring about her health. Nobody else is caring about the finances or the money or this and that. They just trying to make sure that she's good. I know I wouldn't want to lose my sister after losing my mom. Like that was devastating. And to watch my sister just deteriorate in front of everybody, like, I wouldn't want that. F the damn money. You know what I'm saying? And there are some people out there that's more so about the money than they are about the family member. But I don't think that was necessarily the case with these people, in my opinion. What else? Yes, I just feel like this film, I said I'm starting to think that the documentary was never to document her return to TV or podcast. It was filmed the whole time to expose, and they needed it as an excuse to get in and to film what was happening with her, and for everybody to be able to see exactly how she was being taken advantage of. That's my opinion on that. They said Wendy, what else? Wendy being taken to Universal, I said was irresponsible. And why are you asking if she wants to go to the fucking Oscars? That's when I could have had Shawn pull the car over and slap the dog out of her. Because why, if you see she's in the state that she's in, you ask this woman about, first of all, let me calm down because they got me hot just a little bit. I don't much know these people. Okay. So why would you sit up there and ask Wendy if she wants to go to the Oscars? You already see the mental state that she's in. You take her to go see NBC Universal. You just know it was just irresponsible. It was just so irresponsible. The lady asked you what, it sounded like Wendy asked her what was the Oscars or something like that. And Wendy was going to say she wants to go when she should not be going anywhere. Wendy tells y'all she loves fame. She loves when people stop her on the streets. She loves the attention. She loves all of that. Why would she not want to be on the carpet? And I don't know what Shawn had going on, but she really pissed me off. I'm just like, Shawn, girl. And then he go, Wendy, when she was talking to the niece at one point, Wendy said that Shawn was the publicist, and then turned around and said that the girl, she knows finances. What? And then they asked Shawn if she wanted to be her manager or if she was her manager. And she was like, well, I'm her publicist, but I am doing manager type things too, though. And I'm over here like, what in the girl, you trying to see, you are somebody that they really need to watch. We over here watching Will, and I got my good eye on you too. Understand? Okay. But I'm really over here watching Shawn, because Shawn, you trying to be too many things to this woman. You're trying to be, how you go from publicist to you understand finances to now you're sitting over here acting like manager. See, Shawn, baby, you're the type of person that will fluctuate and hype up your resume. Ain't got not damn piece of credential. Okay. Well, I ain't gonna say not damn piece. You do have a piece of credential, right? And credential is being a publicist. But you the type of person that will serve as a manager for a weekend, whereas some people may serve in a position at work, or they may work on a software for 1 month and then be trying to stretch it on their resume like they worked on it for 6 months to a year, knowing damn well they have not. Okay, making it seem like they are truly experts in the field of using that software or whatever the case is. Okay, may have served in one position, may have been team leader for 2 months because somebody was absent. And because they served as team leader for 2 months, they said they did it for 6 months to a year. That's what you strike me as, the type of person that will go and hype up your resume to the next celebrity. Well, I served as Wendy's manager for about X, Y, and Z. Yeah, that's because Will wasn't able to do it. So I served in that capacity as well. So I wasn't just a publicist. I can do those things. But if you would like to just hire me as a man, like, girl, that's what you give. That's what you give. Okay. And I just hate that Wendy couldn't see through you, bitch. I just hate that Wendy was at just such a poor mental state that she just started to befriend everybody. Oh, I hate it. I just, oh, girl, I just can't stand it. Girl, just watching this dog, it was really pissing me off. It was sad. It was pissing me off. I was mad at, Big Kevin. Okay. I was mad at his ass for sitting up there, doing what he did. And it resulted in them getting a divorce. Now, granted, like I said the other day, I feel like Wendy knew that man was over there messing with that lady for that whole decade or whatever. She probably was just on something. You better not have no child on me. And as soon as he did, she's like, all right, give me that divorce, baby. But I fought you too, sir. Because you also, in my opinion, you may have did a small number on her mental when she was with you, but she was in a much better place than she is now. Now, I do believe that her health was going to deteriorate because whatever she got going on in her is what was going on in her, and it was going to happen anyway, but it wasn't going to, in my opinion, happen to this extent. Okay. I don't know if y'all noticed, but when Wendy was with her family, she was so different than when she was with them folks up there in New York. Like, what in the entire let's keep going. So Wendy's son speaks on having her in Florida, and the family wanted to keep her. So this is where the tea dropped for me. And I feel like for me, when he said this is what I already was thinking when I brought the story to y'all, when I brought y'all my thoughts on it yesterday. Wendy's son speaks on having her in Florida, and the family wanted to keep her. And the company. So when he says the company, I'm hearing the Wendy Williams show, felt like they invested in her and didn't like that the family was giving pushback because they wanted Wendy to get back to work. And the son was like, no. Okay. What's more important is my mama's health. Okay. And it appears to me that has always been what's important, has been her health. And watching this documentary, I don't see a change in that. I still feel like that's always at the forefront for that family. It's clearly not at the forefront for the guardian, because had she been in regular contact with Wendy like she should, she would see everything that's been going on with her. And keep in mind, y'all, what we are seeing with Wendy is just a snippet. This is just a 4-hour snippet. It's so many more hours in a day in a year. And I feel like this been going on since what they said, 2020, 2021. Since they done took guardianship over this lady. And it's just been going downhill. So I can imagine what else is really happening that we're not seeing. So anywho, the sons, yeah. So then, they brought her down. It was always the goal for them to bring her and let her be with her family. But she was only supposed to be there for a limited time, and she was supposed to get back to work. The family wanted to extend the time of her being down there because she was just doing so well. She had gained weight. She looked healthier. She wasn't drinking. She was just doing better. And the company was like, oh no, we invested in her. You need to send her back. So when the family gave them pushback, next thing you know, a judge is forcing Wendy to come back because they done filed on Wells Fargo, I feel, on behalf of the company, in my opinion, which is probably why them documents is sealed, filed for this financial guardianship to force her to come back. And also not allow the family to be in control of her funds. But they already know Kevin Jr. was already her power of attorney. And being that he was the one that pushed back on her coming back to New York, of course, they have to, in my opinion, make it appear as though he was irresponsible and abusing her funds and taking advantage of her. So therefore, we have to make him look in a bad light in order for us to maintain guardianship so that she will never go back down there again. Because in so many words, I feel like the company feels like they own her. She's our property. We invested in her. That may be your family, but we own her. So now we're in control of this. We just gave this lady all this money, spent this lady all this money out. Because I remember Wendy had got renewed for multiple seasons. I think she got renewed either in 2019 or 2020 after doing a good amount. I feel like Wendy may have did 10 years, and then they had made the announcement where she was about to, was it 10? Maybe I can't remember the years, but I do remember her completing so much of years on television of a contract and then getting renewed for more. Wendy didn't even get a chance to fulfill the rest of that. So they probably felt like we didn't invest in her, gave her all this money, and she wasn't even able to fulfill the contractual obligation of that. So we got to figure out how we finna get our money out of her one way or the other. If she's not going to return back to the show, we just bring her back to New York until we can figure this out, until we can, be able to monetize or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's just not, I just don't trust them. That they just, that to me is what makes sense. I feel like they concocted a plan to make her son look like he was the bad guy when that was not true. We hear Wendy multiple times talk about how she always wants to give to her son. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, everything is going to him anyway, right? So all those large purchases they were trying to hype up and make it seem like it was drastic, like the 80,000 in rent or whatever the case was, that was over the course of like a year. She was paying for her son's rent because he was off to college and she got him an apartment or whatever. So she was paying for that rent because she was able to. She was financially able to do that if that's what she wanted to do. The 100,000 in Uber Eats, I don't know what that was exactly about, and I don't know if that spanned over a year or multiple years. And they just they had to beef it up, because this is what they do in the courtrooms, okay? Especially when that's what happens when you want to get your way. Especially when you bring up a case, when you're introducing the case and you want to come up against somebody, you're gonna beef it up as much as you can for the judge to see things your way. And I feel like that is what they did. In my opinion. And now a lot of people are saying like, oh, well, she's not in the best mental state and this, that, and the other. And how can she approve certain charges and stuff if she's not in the right mental state? They did this to protect her. Okay, but y'all are seeing what we're all seeing now, okay, on the television screen. They had already taken guardianship of that lady well before it was where it is now. That's what the family is showing y'all. It went down south. Okay, it went further down after they took on guardianship. I feel like that lady was in a bit of her right mind. Now, nowhere near it. Okay, unless she's with her family, that's when I see a difference. But I feel like she had a bit of sound mind to know that she wanted to take care of her child's stuff. So I do feel like this was a scheme that they set up to come up against that family. And here's the gag for me. What I think I read this. They removed her son as power of attorney, y'all. It's not just, oh, they're guardians, he's still power of attorney. They completely removed him from power of attorney. And that pisses me off. And I say that because with them removing him as power of attorney, and I'll let the lawyers and the people that's in the legal field that's more familiar leave it down in the comments or whatever. But if this woman did not make it through the end of the year, they have removed this baby as power of attorney. That boy probably won't get a say of what happens with his mom's body. Probably won't get a say of how she's any dedications, remembrance, all it. Like, he probably ain't even gonna have a say in that because he ain't even power of attorney. If she's clinging to life, he probably ain't even gonna be able to. None of the family would even be able to make a decision on whether to keep her on whatever machines or whatever. Somebody else who is not tied to her, has no relationship to her, a complete stranger who could care fucking less, is going to make that decision because they're the guardian. And should anything happen to this lady, what I'm believing this means, when you remove him as power of attorney and probably took him off as beneficiary, I don't know. I don't know. But I would think that since y'all are in charge of her money, should anything happen to her, y'all gonna get that money and he ain't getting shit. And if you don't see how fucked up that is, I don't know what to tell you, but I'll let you continue to believe, oh, well, Wells Fargo did the best thing that they could. This was the best thing for her. Oh my God, she's going to need help at some point, with getting in a facility and being seen about herself and this, that, and other. So this was the best thing because she could have, did away with all of her money and she could have just had absolutely no money had they not stepped in. Da, 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 da. Y'all are looking at things as of now, where she is now. Because based on what they showed us was from her health deteriorating after the guardianship, y'all. Look at where she was before. It was not 100%, but it was way better than where the fuck she is now. And what's killing me softly is that this lady cried for her family. The lady said she misses her family. Wendy is lonely as fuck. That's why she has these enablers around her. And if her family can't be around her like that, and you got these enablers, it's only going to make it worse. So I'm sorry. I ain't nobody finna really change my mind on that. I definitely blame the Wendy Williams show, production, whoever's behind that. And then I also blame, like I said, Wells Fargo. She mentioned the Bank of America. I don't know if she went and got an account with them to try and get some money because she was over there talking about selling clothes and selling her damn apartment or whatever. And I'm like, girl, Bank of America is worse than damn Wells Fargo, or they right up there neck and neck. So why would you go and open up an account over there with them? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And then it's like everybody's Wells Fargo. I think they did the best thing. I think that they're doing right by Wendy when they keep her son away from her money. Well, then open up the court records then. Open up the court records then. Why they sealed? Let us see what's going on then. Since you think that they're in the best interest and they're doing right for Wendy so she can have some money later. They don't give a fuck about that lady. They don't give a damn about that. What they care about is that money. They want that money. Okay? Period. Let's keep going. So what else are they saying? Okay, so he went to go. Okay, I don't know if y'all noticed this. So he went to go meet up with his mom, Kevin Jr. He went to go meet up with his mom, and I didn't really like something that Will said. And maybe what he said wasn't that bad. It's just that I'm not being fond of him as her manager. So it kind of bothered me. When they're sitting there, he sees how anxious Wendy is to see her son and how she's hoping that he shows up. And he gonna say something like, you think he gonna come? You know how kids are, they don't respect no time anyway. Da 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 da. And I'm just like, why are you planting these seeds of doubt in this lady head? Now, granted, I do know that y'all was waiting there for a long time, but that lady looked like she was gonna wait there till nightfall if she needed to for her damn baby. Okay, so why is you over here planting this type of stuff? That's why you in cahoots with what they got going on too, and that's why I don't trust you, sir. That's why I don't trust you. And did y'all? I don't know. This is the part I said I don't know if y'all noticed. When Kevin Jr. came in, Will said, "How you doing?" or whatever. He spoke to him, shook his hand. That boy did not make eye contact with him. He may have shook his hand, but he didn't make eye contact. So I honestly don't think that boy with that man for real. But he did come to see his mom, and it was good to hear that he was still in school. From my understanding, he said, I was late, mom, because I was in school. She was like, we've been waiting here for a minute. He's like, yeah, I was in school. Okay, gotta do what I gotta do. I know that's right. Okay. So while people was over there saying Kevin Jr. is spending up her money, spending all this money on some Uber Eats, and don't even know whether what that 100,000 spans of, doesn't know that he needs to get a job. He over there spending all that money. Girl, he's in school. He's in school. School takes up a ton of time. A lot of college students are not able to get a job. And again, a lot of y'all, in my opinion, are speaking from today versus then. Okay? Girl. And then, and like I said again yesterday, if his mom has approved a lot of large, lavish transactions previously, which I'm willing to believe she absolutely 1000% did, why all of a sudden is it an issue for Wells Fargo? It's an issue for them because Wendy's health has declined. The production company watched the health decline, did not assist for real, but want to force her back to work. And that son said she ain't going back to work. Therefore, they made him the problem, brought her back, and they done iced him out. So this is messy. And I'm gonna keep repeating the same thing because ain't nobody changing my mind on it. What else? So let's see. Okay, Will being told. Okay, let me go back. Okay, yeah. All right. So at some point, Will was being told how they were like, so now do you see how serious this is when it comes to Wendy? Do you see how serious this is? And he says, yeah. And then he corrected himself. I could be relaying that wrong, but that's how I believe he did it. He kind of was like, yeah, but then he said he corrected it and said, well, I never thought that it wasn't serious. I just never saw it as a problem. Whew. I'm like, and how could you not have seen it as a problem? But maybe because you so new. Maybe you so new to working with Wendy that you didn't see it as a problem. I guess, child. I just don't trust him. I just don't. And ain't nobody gonna make me. Shout out to Fanny D. Thank you so much for the super chat. I hope the family gets guardianship after this. Thank you. I appreciate it. I hope they do too. Let's keep going. So yeah, they bring up the author. Okay, that was the author we talked about, Diane Diamond. She says that judges are appointing professional guardians versus family members. And my question was, why are they doing this? I feel like there is a financial kickback for in my opinion, and I'll let the lawyers or legal people, correct me on that. But from my little mind, honey, I feel like there's a kickback that they're getting, as well as the attorneys that they put in place or the professionals that they're familiar with for these guardianships, okay? Because they got to get paid to monitor somebody else. So I feel like there is definitely a kickback. And what I also did not like was the fact that they brought this lady in for less than 2 minutes screen time. I wish they would have gave us more. I wanted to hear more from her. Y'all set this lady up there, put a mic on her only for her to tell us. I have done extensive research on these guardianships, and what I'm learning is that they're no longer. It's not just happening to Wendy; it's happened to hundreds of thousands of people. But they're not appointing family members; they're appointing professional guardians. Why? Before you do that, you need to be able to prove that a family is inadequate or not capable of taking care of said matters for the family member. You need to be able to prove that before you just go and appoint. You know what I'm saying? And maybe I don't know how the process, go. But it didn't seem like, I don't know what was going on with Wendy's family when it first happened, because as soon as they put a financial guardianship in place, or as soon as they went to the courts, they immediately snatched her up from Florida. So I don't even know if the family had an opportunity to push back and they have a hearing where they both have their sides or both have their say. I don't think they got that opportunity. I think it was just an automatic, okay, now she's in possession of these people over here. Okay, too bad. Let's move on. I don't think it was let me hear what you have to say. Let me hear what the opposing side has to say, whatever, and then come to a decision. That didn't even happen, but okay. So Wendy's sister speaks on her needing 24-hour care. Of course, Will ended up saying the same thing. He's realizing, like, okay, like, she gonna need some help. Okay, it's gonna have to be somebody else here. Okay, these were moments when Will would say stuff, and I would feel like, okay, maybe Will does care, and then I'm quickly reminded that no, the hell he don't. Anyway, so Wendy went back to New York. Things went downhill. Talked about that. The lady cried. She's lonely. She's talking about missing her family. Wendy, yeah, I said Wendy knows that she's in a better state when she's with her family. She doesn't want to be there all by her damn self, but she also don't want to stop drinking either. So Wendy, you need to pick one, baby. Okay, you need to pick one. You rather be around Shawn, because Shawn gonna give your ass some drinks. You don't want to really be around your niece, because your niece ain't finna have it. Just like your son not finna have it. But then you send your son away. It's crazy, but that's how I go. And I need to look up more about that alcohol-induced dementia, because they're saying that it can be reversed. All right. If you take the necessary steps, do the necessary work, that alcohol-induced dementia could possibly be reversed. And I don't know if that would be like, all the way 100%, but I believe that it would be in a better place than where she is currently. Black Chyna, how can I skip over that part? She just popped in my head. Black Chyna went to go see Wendy. Y'all, that scene was sad. I almost cried. Just seeing Black Chyna sit up there, talk to Wendy, and she telling Wendy how much she love her, how much she miss her, how everything's gonna be okay. And with Wendy listening to everything, Wendy just said, "My real name is Wendy Hunter." That was sad, because it was like she wasn't even there. She wasn't even really there listening to anything. She didn't really hear what Black Chyna said. She just immediately went into, "My real name is Wendy Hunter, and I'm divorced, and he has no money." Right? So that's where I'm like, okay, I don't know what is this? Because it seemed like Wendy is very aware, but at the same time, she not there either. When she just randomly says, "My real name is Wendy Hunter," but then she also know that she divorced and ain't got no money. Period. Okay. But that was a sad scene. And Black China just hugged her and stuff. And I thought Black China was gonna cry. She told Wendy that she loved her or whatever like that, or missed her. And then Wendy said, "Me too." And that was just a sad scene. Like Wendy took her wig off and exposed herself, to Black China. And that was interesting. That was an interesting moment. It was a very sad moment for sure. But I'm glad that Black China took the time out to just go and see her. And she's like, "I'm gonna come out here and see you more." And it was just nice to know that she was cared about like that. What else? Wendy selling the condo, and I feel like she's selling it in order for her to make some money, because all her money tied to Hello. Because she said at the top of the episode that she ain't got no money according to Wells Fargo, and she think her guardian is stealing her money. And yeah, she said she ain't got no money. I think she said she broke. She was like, if it can happen to me, it can happen to y'all too, child. So there's that. So she's selling the condo in order to make money. And then what else? That's where I was just kind of in my feelings about the fact that she had to sell the condo because she ain't got no money. And she's around all of those enablers. And it's just like, but these people still get to have access to her and continue to feed her alcohol and substances, and her family can't. And now y'all about to move her away to a place that her family probably not even gonna know where the hell she at, but they still get access to her. Who child? Anywho, this is where I also felt like Shawn was probably fired, okay, for taking Wendy to another state, because I don't think we seen Shawn no more after this. Okay. And being the fact that Wendy needed some care with her 24 hours, it seemed like Shawn was the one that was at the house the most. That was the publicist. So Shawn ass was trying to serve as the publicist, the financial advisor, the manager, and the home care team by her damn self. Okay. That's what it was given, because she was trying to be too many things to Wendy. So it seems like after Shawn was released, at least released from filming, because we ain't see her no more. Next thing you know, they're trying to get her 24-hour care. So I think that's why, because they was relying on Shawn to take care of her and look after her when they ass wasn't there. But anywho, what else? Wendy calls her sister. Okay, so the sister is talking about how she hasn't really seen Wendy, and people stop her on the street and ask her about, where she is. She's a bit emotional and stuff like that. And in the middle of that interview, Wendy gave her sister a call. Hold on one second. Wendy gives her sister a call, and I'll be honest, and I said that did kind of raise my eyebrow a little bit, because it seemed like the sister was trying to make it seem like she don't be knowing what's going on with Wendy, or she hasn't talked to her or whatever. But then the sister just she calling your phone, like, Wendy just calling your phone. I'm like, you sure you don't have access to her? Like, it was kind of like being portrayed a little bit. So I will be honest and say that kind of like had me raising my eyebrow a little bit. I was like, I'm a little confused, because then you got on the phone and you were talking to her, and they asked her, like, is there something you want to expound on based on that conversation? She said no, but I already knew what it was before the niece even mentioned it. I said, they talking about the damn guardian. That's why she told that sister, that's why she told Wendy, go ahead and make your notes. This, that. She'll give you a call back. She playing nice, but high key, she don't, that lady ain't doing her job, basically. That's what it's giving. She not doing her job. What else? Wanda says that she'll do whatever she has to do to help her sister. The niece confirms that Wendy was planning to talk with her guardian about getting out of that facility and getting back on track. Okay, but obviously the guardian is hard to get in touch with. Okay, she started out easy to talk to, but I don't think that's right. You can't just be sitting up there managing other people's money, getting a kickback from managing their money, and then when their family is trying to reach out to you, you don't even answer the day, like, you don't return their calls. You're not as responsive. You're nonchalant. I don't think that's not how that shit's supposed to go. That's not a guardianship, Your Honor. I'd be glad when the people start exposing who the hell his ass is and put him on blast, as well as Miss what's her name, Sarah, or is it Susan Morrissey? Let me look her up. Cause I was like, girl, you need to, where the hell is she at? Get in the building, get in here. Let me see, Wendy Williams guardian, because I'm gonna say your name, ma'am. What is it? Sabrina Morrissey. That's what it's giving. The same one that filed that lawsuit trying to keep this damn documentary from coming out, and it came out anyway. Oh, girl, now you know you need joy. Well, anywho, so all right, so the family they talked about how they were kind of divided at the beginning of the guardianship. Kevin says that he feels like she'll do better with her family, and he says we're in a much better place now than we were then. And it seems like the family, I think the Wanda said, I wrote divided. I don't know if she necessarily said divided, but she said that everybody was trying to help in their own different way, and things were clashing. And I can imagine everybody in the family being a bit frantic because she literally just got snatched from up under them. Right? So they never dealt with this before. They never faced this, so they probably didn't know what the hell to do. So, yeah. It probably was a lot. They probably was coming down on Kevin based on the allegations and things that was put out there about him, and could have been trying to blame him until they had to come to a realization. This is just not a fact. This is just my assumption of how things probably could have happened. And probably, realize that they putting these allegations out there to make you look like this and that. And that's when they probably start figuring out like, oh, no, this is some bigger shit. This is bigger than what the hell we thought. Possibly. Okay. Anywho, I did say that I love that the docu-series is pretty much calling out, or the documentary is pretty much calling out the courts. Okay. They calling out the courts, they calling out this guardian, saying that she's not, doing her job. I'm loving this. I love the way they concocted the plan, making it appear as though this was about a return to television. It was about a podcast and all of that, knowing damn well the whole time it was to monitor and record how Wendy is performing under a guardianship that is not her family, somebody that does not have tied emotions to her, that does not have a true interest like that in her. So I think this was a scheme by the family from the beginning to show this documentary this way. Okay, but I think it was a scheme by Wells Fargo and their production company. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. All right. To have her lock the hell down. Now they talk about the guardianship being up for review, and I'm like, duh. I saw people leaving that in the comments. A lot of people need to understand that the guardianship is up for review. Duh. Then they tell y'all the guardianship is up for review annually. Every year is up for review. It was up for review last year. They could have dropped this documentary last year. Maybe they tried to go about things a different way. I don't know. So they chose to drop it this year. Duh. Anywho, and good for them that they did. My question or my concern is, I hope that this documentary helps the family to get the guardianship of Wendy, and hopefully the courts don't frown on the fact that they use this documentary to expose their ass. In all honesty, because I feel like if they created this documentary to show how Wendy is performing under the care of their assigned professional guardian, then it's only going to make the courts look bad, because then people are going to look at who the hell assigned this person and why. And if the people really start applying pressure and start digging into some shit, and they start learning more about the judge could potentially, if he or she has any, things going on, they're going to feel threatened, because they're going to be trying to get their position again. So they ain't going to want to have no negative press that's going to prevent them from sitting on the bench again, or running to sit on that bench. So they might just say, girl, let me go and get these people this woman. Let me go and let the family get her, so we ain't gotta have no more conversations about it or whatever. So what the people been saying, y'all did all of this for Brittany. Make sure y'all do the same thing for Whitney. Okay, Brittany should have never been under her dad's guardianship. In my personal, I don't give a damn if she was shaving her head, because if she was crazy, it was because of that ass. So why would you give it to the daddy? And that was an actual family member. Y'all should have did a little more research on him and gave him a cap on what he could spend, because he was over there in control of her fucking money, using it however the hell he wanted to. And that's where I feel like it's okay to have a professional guardian as long as they are working with the family. And if a person is rich like that, use the professional guardian to have an extra layer of monitoring that person's finances, if that's the case, to make sure they're not being abused. Don't just ice out this person's family, especially when one has assigned a particular person as their power of attorney. I feel like you have to go the extra mile to prove that that person should not be in that position, and then allow them to at least combat you before you just bang that gavel and make your decision. But anywho, yeah, that was pretty much the documentary from what all I can recall. And yeah, I'm with the family. I'm standing with the family. It was a scheme that them other folks set up to snatch Wendy and her money up. In my personal, okay, everybody talking, they did the best thing. Wells Fargo did the best thing. Yada yada yada. Put her in the facility. Girl, they should have been did that if that was the case. Then why they ain't been do that? If they did the best thing and got her this guardianship and knew that she wasn't doing well, knowing that the son wanted to keep her there for her health, y'all should have hurried up and brought her up there and already had a facility or a place for her ass to go long term or whatever. But anyway, I stand by what I said. Let's go ahead and switch over, because I told y'all we was going to talk about a few articles, and I haven't read these articles yet. But I just wanted to get into them because these are old. These are old articles from when everything like first went down. I think she was placed under the guardianship in 2021. So I want to get into this. They're saying Wendy Williams left to die. Okay, this is according to page 6. Wendy Williams left to die by ex-financial advisor, former attorney claims. Okay, Wendy Williams, former attorney, claims the talk show host was left to die by her ex-financial manager. LaShawn Thomas tells page 6 exclusively in a lengthy statement that Wells Fargo financial advisor Lori Schiller, who no longer works for Williams but is embroiled in her lawsuit against the bank, is attempting to quote unquote muddy the waters by allegedly contributing to a false report that Williams' son misused her American Express card. Now, listen, I don't recall reading all of this or knowing about this before. My thoughts of figuring out that it was a scheme that Wells Fargo set up to come to them with the bullshit, that came from me watching this documentary and piecing together in my personal. Thank you, Brittany, for the super chat. Where was the Guardian when the filming took place? And that's what we all want to know. Miss Mel was hiding behind the curtains because she did not want to be seen, but was quick to run her ass into that courtroom, sitting up there talking about, I don't want this to come out, Your Honor. Your Honor, please stop them. I don't think it's in the best interest of Miss Wendy. No, bitch. It's not in the best interest of you because you over here looking down bad. Okay, let's keep going. They say the real issue is that Wells Fargo, through their advisor, refused to grant Wendy access to her own accounts. Lori Schiller, come to the front, please. Lori Schiller, come to the front. What the you got going on? What you got going on, Lori? I hope the people dig in your stuff too. Dig in her stuff and find out more about her too. Who you work for, Lori? We're gonna have to do a little bit of piece of investigating, because not you being the advisor over there and you decided to send this motion in to lock up everything. I don't know about you, girl. Okay. And Lori, do you have any connection to who the Guardian is? Because we have questions. All right. They said the real issue is that Wells Fargo, through their advisor, refused to grant Wendy access to her own accounts. This includes the right to check her balance. Damn, not the right to check her balance. And this article came out in August of 2022. She can't even check her balance, which is she probably was telling the truth when she said she calls Wells Fargo and they said she ain't got no damn money. Can't even check her damn account on money that she worked hard for and that she earned. And she can't even utilize it how she chooses to utilize it, whether she's in the right mental state or not. It's hers. And now all of a sudden y'all are concerned when she's been making large transactions. Now all of a sudden y'all are concerned and want to say that her son is using her card however the hell he wants to. Now all of a sudden y'all concerned. It's really giving it that family was trying to keep her and nurse her back to good health, and y'all didn't like that. And y'all don't need nobody else standing in the way when it comes to Miss Wendy. So y'all make sure to ice them out. So we gonna see how this play out, girl, but I don't trust these folks. Okay, so let's keep going now. They go on to say no bank should have the authority to do that. Come on. Okay, I just appreciate this article. And again, I did not read this article before I talk to y'all. I'm reading this with y'all, okay? And the article are already pinpointing my thoughts that I had just from watching this documentary yesterday and the day before. All right. But anywho, they said no bank should have the authority to do that. No one attempted to gain access to any of Wendy's accounts. The Wells Fargo's advisor and former manager, Bernie Young, were the only people with access. They left Wendy to die. It's giving, could this be true? Because that's what it's giving from this documentary. Because ever since y'all locked down that lady funds and placed her on a damn guardianship, girl, the health has been declining. And I also feel like when y'all learned that the family was returning, that the family was filming, and y'all learned that, oh, this is for her return to television and the documentary and the podcast, that's when y'all all of a sudden wanted to decide to put her in a long-term facility for care and this and that. That's what I also think too. Y'all was trying to be ahead. Y'all was trying to be a few steps ahead when y'all tried to do that, but it didn't work. But anywho, they're saying Thomas explains that because Williams, who's 58, had no access to any of her funds, she was forced to use her Amex for all of her living expenses, including flights to and from New York for doctor appointments, groceries, etc. Since the shock jock's health has taken a turn, her 22-year-old son has stepped in to help her both mentally and physically with the assistance of a team of doctors. This is according to Wendy's lawyer. Okay. He coordinated all of her appointments. This is for those people that will sitting up there saying, oh my God, he is too young. That's a lot on one person. He can't help do all of that stuff for his mama because he's just too young. I can't say that it may be a lot on him mentally, but if he can get his ass up and read all these books and go to class and manage all of that stuff at school, because school is a whole fucking lot, I do feel like he can make sure his mom is in better state. But I'll also understand this. He really wasn't doing it alone because he also had the family to help too. But let's keep going. All right. The attorney says he coordinated all of her appointments, made sure she attended all appointments, cooked and cleaned for his mother. He absolutely loves his mother without question, and no one should place any blame or allegations of wrongdoing at his feet. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for the super chat, Lania. I hope I said that right. Is giving I Care a Lot, a Netflix original film. Scary. Listen, I saw somebody say this on Twitter where or either in the comments, they was like, y'all should watch this Netflix thing called I Care a Lot. I was like, I'm gonna look that up. Thank you for putting this in the chat as a reminder for me, because I'm gonna try and check that out to see what is really given. Thank you so much for the super chat, because I did see this, see somebody else saying y'all need to watch that. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. The defense of Kevin Jr. comes after a report claimed he had charged $100,000 to his mom's credit card without authorization and demanded Schiller pay it. Demanded. You really think that little boy sat up there and demanded that y'all? I don't know. I don't know this young man, so I can't say that he didn't. Okay. He could have demanded that they pay it, possibly. Okay, but if his mama authorized it, which I'm sure this ain't the only time that she's authorized large payments like this for him, pay it. Okay. The validity of the report is unclear as it was pegged to an anonymous source, but the University of Miami student denied the claims in a statement telling the U.S. Sun, I deny any allegations of unauthorized use of my mother's American Express card. This is a false narrative perpetuated to justify freezing her accounts, which I agree with myself. I believe him. Okay. Thomas, however, said Schiller and Williams' former manager, Young, were the only people to have access to her accounts. Lori's responsibility was to pay all of Wendy and Kevin Jr.'s bills. Kevin has always reached out to Lori for the payment of bills, she said. Girl, just pay the bill. Do your job. Just pay the bill. If anyone, Wendy or Kevin, needed money, they had to contact Lori so that she could initiate payment. First of all, why did you need a financial advisor like that anyway? Girl, don't let me have that type of money like Wendy. I don't want that type of, take my shit to a credit union. Because I don't trust y'all no way. Can I put this much money over there in a credit union? Let me put it over there. Okay, let me see how much. Well, if I can't put all of it over there, let me spread it out amongst a few credit unions because I just don't trust you other big, large corporation type banks and shit like that. I don't trust you. I don't trust you hoes. And no, I don't really need no financial advisor. I got the apps on my phone, and girl, I'm a very frugal person. Okay, very frugal. I don't need you to watch what I'm watching. I don't trust you like that, girl. No, ma'am. Okay. Anywho, all right. They're saying that if anyone, yeah, Wendy, okay, she would initiate payment. Page 6 is learned that Williams desires to buy Kevin a condo in Miami, prompted what ultimately would lead to the guardianship she is now living under as ruled by a New York court. Um, of course, she always wants to take care of that little boy. We heard her say it on this documentary. I have a lot of money. I have a lot of stuff. I want everything to go to my son. She always wants to make sure he's looked after like most rich parents do. So if it's to give them a leg up in life or whatever and buy them a condo, oh, that's what they're going to do. So what was wrong with her buying that for her son? And even if her mind was slowly deteriorating, whatever, that's probably always been the plan and the conversation that she had with her son. Once you go off to college, you finish your first year, whatever the case is, I'll buy you a condo. Whoop, whoop, whoop. That's probably always, I think parents promise their kids stuff like that. So I just, girl, let's keep going. A source tells us that Williams enlisted Schiller to work out the details of the real estate purchase because the advisor allegedly promised the quote unquote Wendy's Got the Heat author that she could help her avoid commission fees. Lori, girl, you a Schiller. You is because listen, I want to call you a scammer, bitch, but I'm not gonna do that. But I feel like that last name is hitting a little different for me. Lori Schiller, but you is a Schiller. Because that's some sneaky shit. That is some sneaky shit. Not you sitting over there talking about you can help her avoid commission fees, girl. I don't believe that. I wouldn't believe that out the gate. A month before Kevin Jr.'s lease was up, however, he got a call from his landlord that said he never received an offer to purchase and the price had skyrocketed another $250,000. So Miss Schiller, bitch, you is definitely a Schiller hoe because you had no intentions, bitch. So you was hating on this young black man and his mama. That's what it's giving, bitch. You a Schiller, bitch. You's a girl. You done gave a new name. You done gave a new name to motherfuckers that be out here plotting and scheming, girl. I'm sorry. You is definitely a Schiller hoe. But let's keep going. Let's keep going. Thomas confirms these claims in her statement and explains that Schiller, out of nowhere, informed Kevin Jr. she could no longer speak with him about Wendy's written authorization because a verbal one was no longer sufficient. In response, Williams asked to be taken to a local Wells Fargo branch to submit the written authorization and power of attorney. However, Thomas claims the local branch manager refused to accept the power of attorney. This is messy. Williams and the branch manager called Schiller, who was in charge, who then would only agree to talk to Williams without anyone else present. Tyler Perry, is that you? Is that you wanting to talk to people with nobody else there? If you don't think this woman was sane enough to authorize transactions with her son, then why the fuck would you want to sit down and have private conversations with her if you think that she wasn't mentally there to approve said transactions, bitch? See, I'm just reading in between these lines because it's not adding up for me. Okay? But let's keep going. Including, okay, so let's keep going. Okay, so they also did not want Thomas, who was her legal representation there at the time either. So y'all just wanted her there all by herself. That don't make no motherfucking sense to me. Lori Schiller report to courtroom B. Lori Schiller report to courtroom B. No, ma'am. The right to counsel is a constitutional right that a financial institution does not have the freedom to curtail. This is what Thomas is saying in her statement, noting that Schiller ultimately agreed to fly to Miami to meet with Williams, but she never arrived. Hold on one second. Hold on 1 second, y'all. All right, there we go. Boom. So she said that she was going to fly to Miami to meet with Williams, but she never came. Instead, Schiller locked Wendy out of all of her accounts. Thomas claims Schiller restricted all access to every single account. Wendy was even restricted from going to the bank and personally withdrawing her own funds. Wendy, a woman who has worked hard for her wealth, was left penniless. Williams' rep said the former radio host had no response at this time. All right. They go on to say the real goal here is to help Wendy regain full and sole control of the assets that she has worked hard for the last 30 years of her life. We would appreciate if you give her time to heal. Y'all, why this quote came from Shawn? Shawn, you might be good at being a publicist, bitch, but you is not good at managing and taking this lady out of the damn state when you know she should not be out of the state. Talk about, do she want to go to the damn Oscars? Girl, go ahead on. Schiller did not respond to page 6's request for comment. Of course not. But a spokesperson for Wells Fargo has denied any allegations of improper actions with respect to Miss Williams' accounts. Of course, you guys would say that as well. Williams has been under the court-ordered guardianship with which she was not in agreement with because she feels that she is capable of managing her own money since the spring. At the time that this happened, I do believe that she was capable in managing her own money. And I do believe what we're seeing now of Wendy is after the guardianship. That's when they started filming, from my understanding. So all these people talk about they did the best thing for Wendy, this dementia, this, that, da, 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 da. Y'all are speaking on what we seeing on camera now, but understand this is after the guardianship, which means to me they didn't have to put that in place. And then here's the gag for me. Y'all trying to sit up there, Miss Lori Schiller. You want to sit up there and try to make it seem like this boy was using unauthorized funds of his mama's when the mama called your clown ass and told you she was trying to buy real estate for her child, ma'am. She told that shit came out her mouth. She told you that. That's what she was trying to do. So why didn't you just do your job and get what she said? So again, okay, I'm about to rest my case, Your Honor, but I still stand on what I said. It was a scheme that Wells, Lori, and production came up with to come to Wendy and her family with the bullshit while people out here trying to play this boy talk about he's just like his dad. He's toxic and he was doing this and he was doing that. Then the boy beat his daddy up. I highly doubt he was taking his money from his mama and giving it to his daddy. He probably blamed his dad for part of her condition and her going downhill because he went out here and had a damn child on his mama. So I don't believe that Kevin Jr. really respects his dad like that. Somebody said, LOL, no, it's two Shawns. Well, I'm going off of the Shawn that is noted in this article that says Shawn Zanotti, which is the same exact name that was on the documentary. Her name is Shawn Zanotti. So this is the same person, the publicist that wrote this statement. So that's what I'm speaking on. JH. So yeah. What else did I want to get into? I wanted to get into this one too real quick. Where they're saying Wendy Williams' son, Kevin Jr., 22, evicted from Miami apartment over $70,000 in unpaid rent. Somebody asked, are they the only person whose stream keeps stopping? I don't know. It could be other people. I might be hitting them with too much truth. So they over there, shaking the table, girl. I don't know. I'm sorry about that. But okay, they're saying Wendy Williams' son, Kevin Hunter Jr., was evicted. Okay. And this article was written in December of 2022. Okay. Almost a year after they done put this lady in this guardianship. So they're saying that he was evicted from his Miami apartment in September. Now, according to legal filing, Hunter owed $70,000 in unpaid rent and was faced with the eviction notice in August of 2022 after failing to pay rent since February. Okay. So Wendy, so I think this could have been maybe I don't know if he could have just moved to this apartment, but let's say, I don't know if he just moved to this condo or if he was already there in the condo. Because if I'm already spending $70,000 to $80,000 or however much on a condo for my kid, I might as well buy you a damn home. I might as well go ahead and just buy you your own, like just go ahead and pay for the condo so you won't have these large ass payments, and maybe get it to a place where you could financially be able to take care of it, whatever the case is. Should it be a mortgage? I don't know if she was going to pay it completely off or get a mortgage or whatever for her son, right? So it makes sense as to why she would want to get him instead of getting him in that apartment where he has to pay this monthly rent, probably buy it right out for him to have his own condo, or to get a mortgage started or whatever, something that he can own, whatever the case is. He was not able to finish paying this because they put them on this I keep wanting to say conservatorship, with this guardianship. So that's the reason for this eviction. Okay, he was used to his mama taking care of it. He probably continued to stay there thinking that things were going to clear itself up, because he could have been informed that it was going to clear itself up, and it never did. So now here it is, the boy credit damn near messed up because of the 70,000. But anywho, they're saying that Hunter was served with the official eviction summons in August, and responded that same month by saying his mother paid a full year's rent up front starting in March of 2021. So yes, she had already paid a year's worth. So if I'm spending about 80,000, let me go ahead and just buy you a spot, because we're gonna spend out more renting than we will buying. So let's just go ahead and do it, especially if she obviously in her sane mind is understanding of the amount of money that it takes to take care of her son, his rent. She wanted to do that. So if you see that she already paid up a full year prior, why would y'all sit up there and make it seem like he's making these frivolous large transactions and all of this other stuff when the mama is agreeing to this? And she wasn't in the poor state of mind then as she is now. What else are they saying? They're saying that upfront starting March 2021, with her intent being to purchase the apartment at the end of the lease. That's what it was. It was for her to purchase it at the end of the lease, which makes sense as to why he probably didn't pay nothing, because he about was hoping that that would happen. But Lori didn't do anything. Lori didn't. Let's keep going. So the 22-year-old says he signed the lease on her behalf at her request. I do believe this. If Wendy is up there in New York and she can't get down there, I believe that she did give her son permission, as he is her power of attorney, to sign that document on her own. Now, why they would not just fax it to her, let her sign it, and then fax it back, I don't know. But I do believe that she gave that boy permission, especially if it's already been noted that she reached out to the damn lady because she wanted to buy his house. It's clearly something that she wanted to do for her kid. Anywho, Hunter then described how his mother's health issues affected his ability to pay rent. As the lease approached the end, my mom went through some health issues that put the court in control of her finances. All of this happened suddenly, and all of the financial support that she always gave me stopped, including my housing. In February 2022, people reported that Williams claimed in a letter to the court that her bank, Wells Fargo, has denied her any access, whether online or otherwise, to her financial accounts, assets, and statements. And assets as well, not just accounts, but assets as well. According to her filings, the action was based on the advice of Williams' former financial advisor, Lori Schiller, that Williams was of unsound mind, according to her. The bank, in its filings to the court, said it froze the funds because Wells Fargo has strong reason to believe that Williams is the victim of undue influence and financial exploitation. It did not specify who or what was exploiting or unduly influencing Williams. I do not believe Lori. I do feel like Lori lied. In my personal, you said that this lady is what did she say? She's not of sound mind, meaning she's of sound mind according to you, but you want this unsound minded woman to come into a room and sit down with your ass by herself without anybody else. Wouldn't you at least allow the attorney to be there? You didn't even want her attorney there. So that's where the sketchiness comes up upon you, bitch. You don't make sense to me. Okay. Thank you so much, Kanesia. Hope I said that right, for the super chat. And this is why Fanny Daddy said keep 6 months of cash in your home. Come on, Fanny. Come on, Fanny Father. Come on, DA Fanny Daddy. That's why he said you need to keep cash on you at all times. I know that's right. Thank you so much for the super chat. I know that's right, honey. Thank you, Justice, for the super chat. They need to take this documentary to the judge. I hope the judge sees it. But I'm hoping when the judge sees it as let's give the family guardianship, because that's the right thing to do, and that the judge doesn't see it as, oh, they exposed our courtroom. I don't like that. They, you know what I'm saying? And we're not going to give them anything because they should have never released this type thing. But hopefully it's on, they're on the side of right, considering the fact that Miss Ma'am thought she was going to be able to stop the documentary from airing, and the courts denied that because they said it'll be against her constitutional rights to, I think, freedom of speech or something like that. So yeah. But let's keep going. So the banks, in its filings to the court, said it froze the funds because Wells Fargo has strong reason to believe that Williams is the victim of undue influence and financial exploitation. Okay. They said Hunter agreed to continue paying rent month to month according to the landlord's filing, but failed to do so, leading to $69,600 in back rent. He added, I had to pause my education for a full academic year because of COVID and to care for my mom. Even though my name is on the lease, my mom was paying, and for medical and legal reasons, she has not been able to pay the rent for the past month since the 1-year lease ended, and the court has controlled her finances. Okay. Now, some part of me want to say, now, Wendy, your child didn't need this super expensive ass condo or anything like that. I really want to, but you can't tell rich folks what to do with their money. For real, for real. In addition, she was never banking on them shutting her down. You know why she was never banking on them shutting her down like this? Because Wendy always spent money like this. Wendy always was throwing that cash out like this. So why all of a sudden now y'all see that it's an issue? Yeah, I don't believe that. It wasn't until her ass wasn't really willing to return to work because she wasn't in the best mental state. But let's keep going, honey. For the past several months, Hunter said he's been back and forth between states, checking on my mom's well-being, he says. He ends the statement saying, filed on August 29th, by saying he secured a different temporary place to live and planned on moving out of the apartment within 7 days. In response to Hunter's statement, the plaintiff requested a hearing on damages, okay? And in mid-September, the final judgment of eviction was entered against Hunter by the court. At the end of the summer, they're saying that Wendy entered a wellness facility seeking help as she hoped to manage her overall health issues. She is taking some time to focus on her health and wellness as she prepares for a major comeback for the next level in her career. The Wendy Experience podcast. And this was a statement released by, again, Shawn Zanotti, the publicist. Here y'all go again, a major comeback. Whole time you over here talking about a damn major comeback, and she look like she far from there. While you flying her ass out from New York over there to LA, talking about do she want to go to some Oscars that was never a part of the plan anyway. Anywho, they're saying Miss Williams, according to Miss Shawn, is being treated by a team of some of the best doctors in the world. We ask for your prayers and well wishes during this time. Goodbye. Bye, girl. In October, she left the facility. We are happy to report that Wendy is home and healing after being in a wellness facility since August. Wendy is excited about the road ahead and looking forward to releasing her mini projects. And it still didn't happen, which means she got out that damn facility, got back into the care of y'all, and y'all motherfuckers continue to do exactly what we saw on camera, enable all of that damn bad behavior, baby. That's what it was given. Girl, I hate that for Miss Wendy. I do. Your Honor, I'm thinking about Martin. Due to the fact that I'm insane, my mommy said da. Listen, sir, ma'am, get that lady to her family. Get that lady to her family. That's just what it is. Get this woman to her family and stop the BS. Okay. If you're gonna have a guardian, let it be in partnership of. Okay. I do believe at some point Wendy wants to move down to Miami. I believe one of the family members said that, and I believe that to be true. I say that she wants to move down there because I do think that as great as New York may have been to her, I think she has a lot of bad memories in New York. I do think that New York can be a dark city. Just my personal. No offense to the New Yorkers, okay? And I think that at some point that lady do want to get down there to where the hell her family's at. She already lost her mom. I'm sure she wants to be closer to her dad. It was in a different space when she's with her family. So get that lady back to her family. Y'all wrong as hell. And I hope that Lori Schiller girl, I hope they investigate your ass, bitch. Okay. And Miss Guardian, I hope they investigate you too and see exactly what you over there not doing, bitch. Okay. But that is all that I have on the Wendy Williams story. I thank you guys so much for listening. And you guys can continue to share your thoughts and all of that down below. And that's really it. Okay. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JamiThatsMe. Make sure you guys like the video. Sharing is also caring. Definitely share. I would appreciate it. Okay. And I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. King of my city.